Buddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, good morning everyone. I hope everyone got the message I sent yesterday night actually. I didn't have time to get ready for the long sutta because the vocabulary was quite long. So I decided to go to the Visākhāsuttaṃ, and hopefully during the weekend I'll be able to prepare the vocabulary of the remaining few suttas so we can continue with the long suttas. So I decided to go to the Visākhāsuttaṃ, which is a quite short sutta. Yeah, so it Gata is also quite nice and it has some good Dhamma information. Yeah, anyone is volunteer to translate? I'm sorry if it was late, the vocabulary, but I think it's the vocabulary is not that much. So anyone is volunteered?
Sorry, Bhante. So this Visākhāsuttaṃ is, I thought it's another Visākhāsuttaṃ.
Is there another one?
Yeah, 100. There's in the last chapter, in last Vagga, the 8th Sutta, also Visākhāsuttaṃ.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was doing the second Vagga one. Second Vagga Sutta 9.
Sorry, I didn't do anything.
So who is willing to translate? Can Dr. Ryan, can you do it? Because I was a bit late.
In fact, I just checked the message, but it's okay. I'll try, Bhante.
Sorry for that.
Okay, but it's gonna take a while for me to do it. Okay, Bhante. So Ewang me sutang ekang samayang pakawa sawati yang viharati Pupparame migara matu pasade. So thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the Eastern monastery in the mansion of the mother of Miraga near Savatthi. Yeah. Tena kopana samayena Visākhāya maraga matuya kochidewa atthoranye pasena deni kosale pati padohoti. Then at the time Visākhā, the mother of Migara, was bound up in some matter, with the king Pasenadi Kosala. Tang Raja Pasenadi Kosala na yatha dipa yang tireti. The king Pasenadi Kosala does not finish that according to her desire. Atako Visākhā Migara Mata Diwadi Wasa Yena Pakawa Tenupasangami. Then Visākhā, the mother of Migara, approached the Blessed One in the middle of the day. Upasangami to Bhagawan tang abhiwade to ekamantang nisidi. Having approached, having worshipped the Blessed One, she sat down on one side. Ekamantang nisenang ko Visākhang Migara matarang Bhagawa etadawoja. Set on one side. The Blessed One said this to Visākhang, the mother of Viraga, who sat on one side. Handa kuto nu tuang Visākhe agacchasi diwa diwasi diwasati. Well, Visākha, where did you come from in the middle of the day? Ida me Bhante kojide wa atho. Ranye pase na dem hi kosale patipato hoti. Venerable Sir, here I am bound up in some affair with the King Pasenati Kosala. Tang Raja Pasenati Kosalo Nayatha Dipa Yang Tire Titi. The King Pasenati Kosala did not finish it according to my desire. Atako Bhagawa etamathang viditoa ta yang vila yang imang udanang udanesi. Then the Blessed One, having understood the meaning at that time, utter this utterance. Okay. Sabbang parawasang dukhang, sabbang esariyang dukhang, sadarane vihananti yogahi duratikama. All that is in the power of others is suffering. All that is mastered is happiness. What is shared is troubling, because yokes are difficult to overcome. I hope that's okay, Bhante.
That's very done. Because you did
Thank you, Bhante.
Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very to read here because without any preparations, you could do it very nicely. Sadhu, sadhu. And thank you very much. And sorry for my delay. Yeah, we'll go into the sutta. I think everyone could understand. So it will also very useful if we can do some readings without preparation. Also, we can get used to. It means like we are familiar with the vocabulary already. And also, I invite everyone to read the suttas that are ahead. Just only when necessary, go to the commentary, because we also need to have that skill of reading casually without any just looking into the Pāļi. So only we can do it when we have a very vast, strong vocabulary. Yeah. So sadhu. So then we go to the sutta, which is a short sutta, which explains about a matter between Visākha and the king Pasenadi Kosala. Visākha, we already know, was the foremost supporter, female support of the Buddha, Daika, Pache Daika. She was not the foremost disciple. She was not the foremost lay disciple, female disciple. There were two, like Nanda Mata and someone else who were Anagami. They were the foremost disciples among the females. In the males, it was Chitta, Hattalavaka and Chitta was the foremost male disciple. Anathapindika was the foremost in the supporting, like Daika, Pache Daika. Then, Sariputta Moggallana were among the monks, and Kema and Uppalavanna were among the bhikkhunis. Yeah, among the bhikkhunis. So therefore, Visākha, who was, if I go and check Upasakanang, Savikanang, they were Nanda Mata and Uttananda Mata and someone else, Supya or something. Does anyone remember the foremost female disciples? Mm,
Is it Upalawanna and then
I mean Upasikas.
Oh.
Kema and Upalawanna among the bhikkhunis. They females, one was Uttara Nandamata, the other one, forgot who was. In the Buddha Vansa Pāḷi we have. Just, yeah. This is always quite important for us to know it actually. Onnanja Buddha mentions Chitto Hattalavaku Nandamata cha Uttara. Nandamata and Uttara. These were the two foremost disciples. Nandamata and Uttara. They were Anagamis actually. They were Anagamis. Then, yeah, so she was the main donor in the female side. So then we go into the sutta. Just give 1 minute. Visākhāsuttaṃ. Right. Ekam evam me sutang ekan samayam bhagava savatyang viharati. Understandable. Kubbarami Migaramātupasādi. Kubbarama was a monastery in the eastern side. So Kubba, we can call it Kubbarama. Migaramātupasāda was a mansion built by the Visākhā for the monks. The commentary says it had 2 stories, one containing 500 rooms, chambers. So altogether there were 1,000 chambers within the mansion. And she was called Migara Mata, the mother of Migara. Actually, Migara was her father-in-law. She was she married to Punnavaddana Kumara. Punnavaddana was the husband. His father was Migara. Later, she had some troubles within that house as a daughter-in-law in the beginning, but she managed to handle them very wisely. And the father-in-law considered her as his mother. So that's why he was called Migara Matu. Actually, in the relationship, Migara was the father-in-law of Visākhā, but he considered her as the mother, it says. So that's why she was known as Migara Mata. So the mansion was built by her. It says that she sold her jewelry, which was called Mahalata Pasadana. So she sold it, and with that money, she offered this mansion. So she, the commentary says she spent 90 million rupees, 90 million coins. But altogether, it mentions the entire process, entire offering cost 270 million. 270 million. Then Tenakopana Samayan at that time, Visākhāya Migara Matya Kochdeva Atto Ranye Pase Nadimhi Kosale Patibaddo Hoti. So at that time, Tenakopana Samayana, instrumental of time, Visākhāya Matya Migara Matya Kochdeva Atto Ranye Pase Nadimhi Kosale Patibaddo. We look into this sentence, we find this is the verb Patibaddo Hoti. Patibaddo Hoti. It's bound. This is the verb, Patibaddo Hoti. What is the subject? Atto. Atto. One matter, some affair. The commentary explain it as a payojana, one useful matter, something that is related to her. So we can just translate as some related matter, right? So Kijde payojana. So we can also say it's some kind of a thing that is useful or related to her. Then Kochideva. Kochi means what, some matter, whatever, like one certain matter. She had a certain matter related to, she had a certain matter. Kochideva Atto Patibaddo Hoti. Bound. Now, there was a certain matter bound. Bound in whom? Bound to Kosale Pase Nadimhi. It means Ranye Kosale Ranye Pase Nadimhi Kosale. The matter was bound with this king. It means she couldn't do it by herself. She couldn't finish the affair by herself. There was necessity of the king's involvement. So that's why it says patibaddu. So if we just had some kind of affair, she would have done it by herself. So this was bound. Commentary says patibadda means ayata. It actually was related or to King Kosala, that it means she couldn't do it by herself. So the involvement of the king was necessary. So that's why it says Ranye Pasena Dimi Kosale Patibadda. Because of Patibadda, this was written in locative case. Right? So whose matter was that? Whose affair was that? Of Visakha Migaramapya. So Visakha Migaramapya was the genitive case of this subject. Kochi Deva Atto. Atto is the subject. Kochi Deva is a Kochi is a we can take it as an adjective. So Ranye Pasena Dimi Kosale Patibaddo Hoti. A certain affair was there of Vigaramata, which was bound with the king Kosala. Thang, that affair. So this thang is the Atto. So that affair, thang, Raja Pasenadi Kosalo no Yatadi Payan Tireti. So the subject is verb is Tireti. Subject is Raja Pasenadi Kosalo. The king Pasenadi Kosalo na Tireti, does not finish, does not decide, or does not execute. Right? There are many meanings. Like it doesn't. It says Nittapeti, doesn't finish or doesn't accomplish. That means the Atto. So Raja Pasenadi Kosalo, King Kosala, na tireti, does not finish what? That act, that affair. How doesn't he finish it? Yathadipayang, according to the desire, according to the wish. Adipaya is wish or desire. Yathadipayang means according to the wish. He doesn't finish it according to the wish. Wish of whom? Wish of the Migaramatu Visakha. So Visakha had a desire to finish the affair in a certain way, and king was not doing it accordingly. It was a righteous wish. It was a righteous wish, because what has happened according to the commentary, the relatives of Visakha had sent certain jewelries to her, and they were when they entered to the city Kosala, there were certain taxes to be opposed, like to be put on them, like to be enforced on these taxes, endorsed on this on these jewelry. So they have to pay the taxes. So what the immigrant officers, we call it today's word, immigrant officers, or ones who were tax collectors in the gate, at the gate, they were going to collect some unnecessary taxes. They were going to collect some unnecessary taxes for the jewelry. Like there was some necessary amount that should have been paid. They were asking more than what was necessary. So the Visakha wanted to bring the issue to the king and ask him just to take only what is necessary and not to pay what was the gatekeepers were asking. So that was a desire, and it was a righteous desire. King Kosala didn't look into this matter, and he didn't actually get the information. When Visakha was going to approach the king, he was with the queens. He was in the inside city with the queens, Queen Mallika and the others. So therefore 3 days she approached the king, but she couldn't talk to him in person. So she was unable to inform the matter. So without this information, the king started to, because there was the matter was stuck, and it had to be cleared, clarified. So because the jewelries were in the gate, and the taxes were not paid, so it was something to be cleared by the king. So he was doing the investigation and the inquiry without the Visakha's information from her evidence from her side. So that's why it says he was not doing it, finishing or doing the trial without the intention of, or not according to the desire of Vigaramata. Then Atako Visākhā Migāra Mātā Diva Divassa Yena Bhagavā Tenupasankam. So that then Visākhā thought to approach the Buddha. Commentary says she was a little bit disappointed that she couldn't meet the king, and she thought my efforts were in vain. But if you go and meet the Buddha, that approach or meeting him would never be in vain. So it will be surely beneficial for my life. So then she decided to go to the Buddha's temple, Migāra Mātā, where the Buddha was dwelling in the monastery which she had built. Diva Divasa means in the middle of the day, right? At the noon. So then Upasankamitva, having approached Bhagavantang Abhivadetva Ekamantan Nisi. I think you can understand this. Then Ekamantan Nisinnanko Visākhā Migāra Mātarang Bhagavaita Javoja. The subject is Bhagava. Bhagava said, to whom Visākhāṃ Migāra Mātarang. Mātarang is the accusative singular. Mātang Mātarang. Said this to Visākhā, the mother of Migāra, who had sat beside. They said this to Migāra Mātā, who had sat beside. Handa, well, Kuto Nutvang Visākhe Agachasi, Diva Divas. So here, Kuto Nutvang, Twang is the subject. Kuto, from where? Nu is the question. Make it in a question form. Handa Kuto Nutvang Agachasi, come from. Kuto is from where? Where do you come from? Diva Divas, at the middle of the day. Visākhe is a vocative case. The feminine gender noun, Visākhā. So vocative case ends with A, Visākhe. Then she explained, Idame Bhante, Kochideva Atto, Ranye Pasena Demi, Kosale Patibaddu Hoti. But they here, one certain matter, one of my matters are bound with King Kosala Pasenadi. Right? So she's explaining. Instead of saying Visākhe, she's saying my one of my issues. Tang Raja Pasenadi Kosurono Yatati Bayantireti. The King Kosala does not finish that matter, accomplish that matter, does not do it according to my righteous wish. So then the Buddha found it that her issue was bound with someone, even though she had a righteous, a correct desire, a fair desire, I would call. She was unable to do it properly according to the what had to be done. Why was that? Because that matter had to be solved with the influence or involvement of someone else. So the other person who was doing it, his desires, his carelessness, negligence, all would influence the result of this matter. So it means even though she knows that what should be done, but this is correct, she couldn't do it because it had to be finally, ultimately decided by the king. So then the Buddha, having known this, uttered this utterance. Atako Bhagavā etamattang viditva thāyang velayang imang Udāna. So we can go to the, before we go to the explanation, Gatha, we can have a discussion. Before that, we'll conclude with the commentary. So etamattang, sorry, in the vocabulary we have it. Etamattang. Yeah, etamattanti etang parāyattithāya adipāya asamijjana sankātang attang viditva. So he knew, Buddha understood this meaning. What was it? That adipāya samijjana sankātang. Asamijjana. Samijjati means happens. Asamijjana. So this is adipāya plus asamijjana. That's why it has become long. So it doesn't happen. Adipāya, the desire was not accomplished. Didn't happen. Why is that? Parāyattithāya, because it was related, because it has to be solved by someone else. It belonged to someone else. Someone else, it was in the control of someone else. So knowing this, that these matters which have to be solved with the involvement with others, that it doesn't always goes as we think. Imang Udāna, imang paradhina buddhisu paradhina aparadhina buddhisu adhina manisansa paridīpakang Udāna. So then he uttered this utterance, having known that the expected desires will not accomplished because of the matter was bound to others. Then he uttered the benefits, the agatha which express the disadvantages and advantages of what? Disadvantages of paradhina, disadvantages of having things that are connected with others. Aparadhina. Aparadhina means like some matters are not connected with others. Buddhisu. These existing, right? The things that certain things that that are related to others and that are not related to others. So in this such manners, Adinava Anisansa Paridipakang Udanang Udanis. So he uttered these utterance that expresses about the benefits, disadvantages, and advantages of things that are related to others and which are not related to others. Yeah, then we can go into the Gatha. Yeah, we can start a conversation.
So Bhante,
Buddhi is normally translated as mode of being or acting, conduct, practice, something like that. Yeah. Yes, Pāḷi, please.
Okay. In the commentary regarding the Buparama, so first expand about the in the Savatthi, the eastern side of the Savatthi, but after that it mentions like Anuradha Pura. So why they mention Anuradha Pura here?
There was a monastery. If I go to the commentary, I think you can see the commentary. Atite, sorry, not here. First one. Navame in the 9th sutta, Pubbarameti. The word Pubbarama means Pubbarameti. Savatya Pāchina Disa Bhage in the eastern side of Savatthi. Anuradhapurassa Uttama Devi Vihara Sadise. Similar to the Uttama Devi Vihara in Anuradhapura. Sadise Thani. In a place which was similar to Uttama Devi Vihara in Anuradhapura, Karite Arami. So in Anuradhapura also there was a monastery in the eastern side which was called Uttama Devi Vihara, which was built by someone called Uttama Devi. So this Pubbarama was also built by Vidi Visakha in such a similar place, like it was the eastern place in Anuradhapura. This was built in the eastern side in the Savatthi. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Anuradhapurassa Uttama Devi Vihara Sadise Thani. So it was done in a place similar to the Uttama Devi Vihara in Anuradhapura. Because I think this was mostly read by monks in Sri Lanka. So the Sinhalese commentary. So I think that the translation of the Sinhalese commentary. So that's why they have given an analogy for them to understand easily. We don't know where is this actually. It's a very long time.
Or even these days, there's no this place.
No, just maybe there this Uttama Devi Vihara may have been excavated already. I'm not sure about that. Because just you go there, it's just ruins, right? I think you have visited there. It's just built, just some bricks and some stones are there.
Yes.
Nothing. Maybe they have found it. Not sure. Because there are a lot of sites in Udāna.
Hi, Bhante.
Dr.
Yeah, I have a question about this sentence. It's like the second sentence in the sutta. Tena ko panasamayena Visākhāya migara matuya koji dewa attoranye pasenatimi ya kosale patibato hoti. So you explain that the atto is the subject and the Visākhāya is the genitive case. But the verb pati baddati, is it the transitive verb, Bhante?
Active or passive, right?
Yeah. Pati
Baddha.
bandati. Because
Baddha.
what does that mean, that the Visakha is the subject and Atto is the object?
I think Baddhati has Bandhati and Baddhati, two words.
Bandati, right?
And Baddhati.
Baddo is the past participle of
To Bandhati. This is a transitive. And we also have another one, Baddhati. So this is a Divadi. So this one is intransitive verb. It's like it get attached. This is also an active voice verb.
Yes, but then according to the, the dictionary says the patibadda is the past participle of bandati, not baddati.
I think both can be made, to my knowledge. Yeah, the root is bad. Bad is the root. So
Yes.
plus a. So we can have baddha. So it can be from bandhati and also baddhati. So if it is bandhati, which is a passive voice past participle, if it comes from the root verb baddhati, it will be active without object, like it got bound.
So the root baddati, I couldn't find it in the dictionary. Baddati.
Baddhati. It's like we also have a, like when we get attached to something, someone do it and it get attached. We also have such a meaning. Baddha. Baddha is not already necessary that it's like when we say baddha, normally it is not necessary that it was bound by someone. It already got bound by itself. The meaning also can be.
I see.
Baddha. But the dictionary only gives one meaning.
Yeah,
So-
the baddha is the past participle of bandati. So there is no verb baddati.
You have this.
Because you gave two forms. You said it can come from two different verbs, bandati and baddati, but there is no baddati.
The root. What is the root they give? Band or bad?
Bad, Bhante.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. To my memory, understanding, but have studied is like the root bad can be found in with the Divadi ya suffix. That's the point. I was looking at a book. I cannot find it at the moment. Because Bad Bandhani. Yeah. But so normally Bajjati is the no, so Bajjati. If it is Divadi, it become Bajjati, not Baddati.
Yes, Bajjati, yes.
Right? Bajjati. So this Bajjati is can be active voice.
Okay, Bajjati.
Is there a verb like that in the dictionary?
Yes, there is a Bajjati. Bajjati is bound.
Bound. So
yes.
It's not transitive, right? It's intransitive.
Yeah, it's transitive. Yes, it is intransitive.
So
Because
that is so the same root.
So Bhante, is the Bajjati is non-aspirate, but not a ba.
Yes, there is no H. No, not the first one, Bhante.
H, right?
Yeah, but not the first one. This is a BAJJ, not BHA. Yes. But and then so you mean so you mean the Bhattati in this sutta comes
Yeah.
from the Bhajjati, not come from it doesn't come from Bandati.
Yes.
So and then how can we distinguish Bhante when we see, so they both of them have the same past participle?
Past participle, yes. So this one we normally, how can I say, because it was not bound by Nigaramata. So because it was a matter of Nigaramata which was bound on Kosala. So the matter was automatically got bound, automatically naturally got bounded on the Kosala, and it was not something that she did. So based on the context.
I see. Okay, I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Anything to be discussed?
So Bhante, here, like we say divasa. So generally we translate in the middle of the day. So how can we analyze this one?
I think once we had a vocabulary, which sutta did this come? Anyone remember? Diva Divasa, we had this before.
Yeah, I think it's like the sutta where the also the male lay devotee, he had a very busy and he went to see the Buddha in the middle of the day. Yes.
Upasaka Sutta, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Upasaka Sutta.
Oh no, that's the one that the Eka Putta.
I said Eka Buddha Sutta.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Eka Puttaka, we had some assistance, right? We did yeah. Diva Divas, where was it? Huh? Miss Machuno, Amisang, Machurajas, Agata, translation of Gata. This was translation assistance in grammar. No, it was not written. Here, Diva Divas. Daytime of the daytime. It means at the noon. So Diva. Okay, we'll go and see in the commentary itself. So daytime of the daytime. Divasassa Diva, it gives. Right. We'll go to this Ekaputtaka. Ekaputtaka Sutta Vannana. Sambahula Upasaka. Allakesa. Diva Divasassa. Diva Divasassati. Divasassapi Diva. Majjannike Kaleti Attu. So Divasassapi Diva. It was in the, so here Diva means normally Diva is the noon. The noon is the middle. So Divasassapi Diva. It was the noon of the day. It means the middle of the day. So if you take the day from 6 to 6 normally, where the light is still present from the sunrise to the sunset. So within that, the middle time. Normally Diva itself says the daytime or noon. Divasassapi Diva means exactly during the noon. If we have the word Diva, Divacha Rattocha, sometimes Diva can refer to the entire day. Entire day. Like from morning till evening can be called Diva. Ratti is the after the sunset. From sunrise to sunset is Diva. Sunset to sunrise is Ratti. That's why in Ratana Sutta we say Divacha Rattocha Haranti Ye Baling. They offer, or you take the offerings from them. during daytime and nighttime. Divacha Rattocha. So even within that diva, so we can also call that is divasa. Divasa also means the daytime. So divasasta diva means middle of the daytime. Middle of the daytime. So in that sense, diva has a meaning of something when the sun is very bright, or sun is in the middle period of the day, something like that. So in the end, what they want to say is it is the real noon, like 11 till maybe from 11 to 1 o'clock, something like that. 11 to 1. Normally we can also classify divasa, the noon from 10 to 2. That is also some possibility. But it seems like very noon, like normally people take rest during that time. They don't do much work during that time. So that kind of idea is given here. It's like very daytime.
So here the divasa is a genitive case.
Yeah, divasa diva.
How about diva? Which case here?
Diva is indeclinable.
Yeah, but some nibbada they have a kiss anew, right?
Diva divas. Then this is locative. Time. Locative of time. In that case, in that sense, diva is locative of time. If you use a word, if you want to understand what is the meaning, case ending here, diva is locative of time.
Okay.
Okay, so then we'll go to the vocabulary. Sorry, gata. Yeah, gata is vocabulary of the gata. Sabbhang paravasan dukkang, sabbhang istariyang sukang. Sadharane vihanyanti yogahi duratikkama. Sabbhang paravasan dukkang, sabbhang istariyang sukang. Is it now, because you are studying gata, this isn't it that this meter is not perfect? Sabbhang paravasang dukkhang, sabbhang istariyang sukhang. Seems like, to me, it seems a little bit strange. The meter was not perfectly done. How do you think?
I think this is okay. This is 8 syllables, right?
Sabbhang para dukkhang, sabbhang istariyang sukhang. Is it okay? Because it's very difficult for us to get a tone on that. Or anyway, sadharane vihanyanti yogahi duratikkama. So now sabbhang is all, paravasang something that is in the control of others, like that. It is not fully our control. Dukkhang is here suffering or something that leads to suffering. Sabbhang or Isariyang is mastership or our lordship, supremacy, dominancy, something like that. Sukhang brings happiness. Then sadharane, which is common, sabba chitta sadharana, common to all the chitta, something like that. Vihanyanti, they suffer or they get annoyed, they are annoyed, suffer hardship and all this. Like they suffer or they get like it's not something that is easy. Yogahi duratikkama. The yokes are duratikkama means things that are difficult to overcome. Right? So if you read the Gata, if you understand the vocabulary, I think we can understand the sutta, the Gata very easily, the meaning. But after we have read the sutta, sabbang is all, sabbang paravasan dukkang, all that is under control of others is suffering. Sabbang istariyan sukang, all that is in our control is happiness. It means if we have the control of in matters in our control, that we don't need to rely upon others, that is surely that brings a lot of happiness to us. But if some things are depending on others, so it's there can be some it is a suffering indeed. Then sadharane vihanyanti. So because of things that are common to everyone, that we cannot take our decisions by our own self. So people suffer a lot in such matters. Why is that? The reason, yoga hi duratikkama. It is difficult for us to overcome the yokes, right? It is difficult for us to overcome the yoke. So how this is related to this, then we'll find out with the commentary explanation. So we will first go how to understand the gatha. How to understand the gatha. So title it as 5. We'll try to normally get the sentence done. Sabbang paravasan dukkam. Sabbang paravasan dukkam. All that is under the control of others is suffering. Dukkam hoti. And there is one sentence. Then sabbang isariyang sukham. All that is in the, so something that is in our control, our supremacy is happiness. Sukham hoti. Right. Then why is that? Why this is suffering? Right. Sadharne vihanyanti. Te or manusa, whatever we can put a subject, because this is a verb. Sadharne is the locative case. There's no subject. You can put te or anyone, they, whatever, any plural noun according to the context we can use. Te sadharne, de sadharne vihanyanti. Vihanyanti. So they suffer or experience hardship in matters which are common to others, not in our full control. Why is that? Kasma yoga hi duratikkama honti. Right. So duratikkama is difficult to overcome. This is not a verb actually. This is a predicate. Yoga is the subject. So yokes are difficult. Duratikkama means something that is difficult to overcome. Like Purusho Buddho Hoti. The man is the Buddha. So likewise, these yokes are difficult to be overcome. So that's why you put is Honti. The reason, that's why we call it Kasma, the reason for this. So now it shows that this is the rough idea. If something is in our, if something matters are the, if there are the matters that have to be solved by others, would mostly bring suffering to us. If the matters are in our control, we can do it by ourselves. Surely they are very easy and brings happiness to us. And people suffer in the matters that are common to others. It means things that we cannot do by ourselves, that the involvement of others is also necessary. Then why is that? Yoga, the yokes are very difficult to overcome. So it shows that we get involved in such matters because of yogas. That's why this was a reason. Since this is very difficult to be overcome, so we suffer in such matters. So we'll go into the commentary. So tatta there sabbang paravasan dukkanti yankinchi attajatang payojanang paravasan parayattang attano ichhaya nipadetung asakkunayataya dukkhang dukka vahang hoti. So all whatever matter, whatever thing that we should do, if it is under the influence or control of others, right, it cannot be done by our desire, according to our desire. It cannot be finished according to our desire because the involvement of others is necessary. So it brings suffering. Dukkam. Dukkam means dukkha vahang. It brings suffering. So that's what it means. Sabbhang paravasan dukkam. All the matters that are in the other's hand. Other's hand means others' influence or control. It's a suffering. So sabbang isaryan sukham. All the Dominancy is always a happiness, because if we have our own control. So the commentary says, Duvidang Isarya, Lokyan Lokuttarancha. There are two types of dominancy, two types of mastership, supremacy. That is Lokiya 1 and Lokuttara 1. Lokiya and Lokuttara. Then the commentators explains what are the Lokiya masteries. So Tatta Lokyang Raja Rajisaryadi Cheva Lokiya Jhana Nibbattang Chittasaryancha. So there are two types of dominancies in the mundane level. That is the supremacy we have, like becoming a lord, like a king and so forth. And then also the supremacy we have over our mind after we have attained a higher concentration, like jhana, like Lokiya jhana. So there are two types of mastery. Lokuttarang is Maggapaladi Gama Nimittang Nirodhisarya. It's called Nirodhisarya, the mastership over nirvana. Over means like we are able to observe or nirvana as we like and so forth. So that is attained by Magga, because that mastery is attained because of the attainment of Magga and Phala, right? So this is Lokuttara. This is said as Lokuttara. So Lokiya Isarya is the mastery over the control that we have upon others, like the lordship. Then the control we have upon our mind in terms of concentration and also abhinya and so forth. Lokuttara mastery is that we have the control to observe or look into nirvana, and also to our mind is in control over observing nirvana as we like. Tesu, among them, these Loki and Lokuttara lordship, like masteries, the lordship over people is also a happiness, because it is attained mostly by our past merits. We become a king and so forth is mostly based on our past merits, and also our effort in this life also just matters. Then, but still, it says in terms of when we look into it, because we don't need to worry upon others when we have such a lordship. We can take our decisions by our own, like as it can be done by a leader. But still, that is not permanent. It changes. So there is a certain happiness, but in the ultimate sense, it changes. And then in terms of the mastery of the mind by attaining jhana, it is more blissful, but still sometimes we may lose it. Surely when we lose the jhana coming from Brahma world, the human world, we lose that mastery over it. So it's also something it is permanent. But the Nirodha Isarya meva pana loka dammehi accompaniyato anivattita sabhavattacha. So Nirodha Isarya, mastery over nirvana, is not shaken by loka dhammas, like labha, alabha, and so forth, 8 loka dhammas. And also anivattita sabhavatta, we don't come back from it. Sakadagami would never become a Sotapanna. Anagami would never become a Sakadagami. We don't go back. So it is unshakable by the Loka Dhammas, and also that mastery, we don't retard in that mastery. We don't come back, fall down from that mastery. So therefore, it is considered Ekanta Sukham, indeed the real happiness. So here the happiness is termed as lordship of the mastery, because we have that control in ourselves. We don't need to depend upon others. Among these 3 types of mastery, that is the mastery in terms of the lordship, mastery in the mind related to the concentration, and mastery in related to nirvana. So out of these three, still the first 2 are subject to change. They lose it. We don't normally lose it. So therefore, it is the real happiness among the masteries. Yam panetta sabbatheva aparadhinathaya labhati chitta sukhan tan sandhaya satta sabbhang issariyan sukhantiya. So even though in this statement we have to take all three, it is ultimately the first two are in terms of noble truths. Like if we look into it in ultimate reality nature, they are sort of a suffering. But here, Sabbhang Istaryan Sukham means all these three masteries are taken as things that bring suffering. Right? Things that bring suffering. Labhati Chitta Sukha. Why is that? All these, because all these masteries, we are not depending on others. Our mastery, our ability to execute as we wish, work as we wish, is not based on others. Then sadharane vihanyanti. I think these first two lines are clear now. Right, first two lines. Now sadharane vihanyanti. So now the commentator says, what is sadharane vihanyanti? Idang sabbhang paravasan dukanti imassa padassa atta vivaranam. So sadharane vihanyanti is explanation about this sentence. It's the explanation of the first sentence. Why the Buddha mentioned sabbhang paravasan dukkha. Now he's going to explain the reason, the explanation. Idang sabbang paravasan dukkhanti imassa padassa atta vivaranam. This is the explanation of this line. Ayan hetta atto. This is the meaning. Sadharane payojane sade tabbe sati tassa paradhina thaya yatadiphayang anippadanato ime satta vihanyanti vighatang apajjanti kilamanti. So it says sadharane payojane. In certain matters which are should not be done only by ourselves, which needs the involvement of others, general matters. Sadharane payojane sade tabbe. When such matter has to be done, sadharane tabbe sade tabbe sati. It's a locative case, absolute. Tassa paradhinathaya, because of its nature bound with others, because it is something that is in the control of others. Yatadipayang anippadanato, because it doesn't happen according to our desire. Anippadanato, it doesn't occur according to our desire. Ime satta vihanyanti vigatang apajjanti vighatang apajjanti kilamanti. These humans or beings, suffer, experience hardship because such thing doesn't happen according to our desire. Why is that? Because it is something that is in the control of others, not in our supremacy. We have no, it doesn't happen according to our desire. So in the ultimate sense, we know, like even everything doesn't happen according to our desire. That's why the Buddha says, "Yam picchan nalabati tampi dukkam." Even we about our life, we don't have a mastery in the ultimate sense. That's why we all get old and die one day. But this is talking about the matters in our lives, like general things that we have to do. So maybe it's social or private, whatever. If these things do depend upon others, then the intended desirous outcomes would not be achieved as we think always. Kasma, what is the reason now? So they suffer a lot because the things are not under our control. So the matters are not under our control because sadharani payojani. So these things that is common to others even. Kasma, what is the reason? Yoga hi duratikkama. Yogas are difficult to be overcome. Yasma, kama yoga, bhava yoga, ditthi yoga, avidya yoga, anadi kala bhavita, anupachita kusala sambarehi, pajahatun, asakkunayathaya duratikkama. As the yogas are very difficult to be overcome by the ones who have not completed the practice, not completed the perfection. Etesu, then the commentator explains, out of these, Ditthi Yoga is eradicated by first part, Kama Yoga by third, and the remaining two are by the higher part. Iti, thus, Arya Magga Magganang Duridigamaniyatta ime yoga duratikkama. So then these yogas are eradicated by the noble path, and it is very difficult to attain these noble paths. So in the end, it is said that these yokes are difficult to be overcome. Why it is? Because it's very difficult to come into the path consciousness. It is very difficult for us to develop this path, right? Tasma kama yogadi vasena. Now this sentence explains duratikkama. Why the yogas are difficult to overcome. It is not difficult to be overcome by normal people who have not developed the paramis, right? And also, it has to be, if we eradicate them, it has to be eradicated by the respective paths, and those paths are very difficult to be attained. So ultimately, eventually, yogas are difficult to be overcome. Tasma, therefore, kama yogadi vasena ichchitalabha hetu satta vihanyanti. So due to kama yogas, ichchitalabha hetu satta vihanyanti. Ichchitalabha. Ichchita means desire. Alabha, not gaining. Ichchita alabha hetu, due to not gaining what is desired. Right? So this, if we analyze this, ichchita plus alabha. Due to not gaining what is desired. Ichchitalabha hetu satta vihanyanti, being suffered. In terms of kama yoga divasena, due to kama yoga and so forth. Kama yoga and so forth. So maybe now this is something little bit we can have few insights on this. Why is it the kama yoga is it the reason for the suffering, or is it now because the matters that such matters now the things that should be done is common to everyone. Even someone has eradicated the defilements, they may have some issues that are needed to be done with the help of others. For instance, Arahant wants to build a kuti, to support the Sangha, to go somewhere. So it's not always that Arahants can do it by themselves always. So even they have to depend on others. So then if things does not happen as they wish, but still the difference is a person who has not eradicated the defilement would not suffer like an Arahant does. Would not suffer, Arahant would not suffer like a person who has the defilements. So maybe this Kama Yoga is the reason for Vihanyati. Kama Yoga should be, my personal idea is, should be the reason for this suffering. It's not the reason for not gaining. It's not the reason for not gaining what is desired. So not gaining what is desired is something, it's not in the control of, it's not a reason of kilesas, it is a common phenomenon. Then the next point is, maybe the Kama Yoga, one desires due to Kama Yoga, desires something because of Kama Yoga, right? So then because of the Ichchita, why we desire something, because of these yogas, then not gaining them, the being suffer. So then it comes the problem, Ichchita is desired. About Kama Yoga and Bhava Yoga, this is understandable, but how, because of Ditti Yoga and Avijja Yoga involvement is also possible to be understood. Then how do we attach the Ditti Yoga? Maybe we have a wrong view, so it's a wrong desire. So it is also possible that the yogas are connected to this Ichchita. Because of the yogas, we have a desire and we don't get it, so the beings suffer. Or otherwise, it's a natural phenomena that the desirous things do not occur as we wish because they have to be done. Other support is also necessary. So then because of these existence of yogas, we do suffer mentally and not like the Arahants who are freed from some mental suffering. Asadharane, then what happens? Asadharane pana chittissariye nirodissariye sati na kadhachipi vigatasa sambhavoti adiphayo. So what happened now? These things happen when in matters which are depending on others, Then but then he comes asadharane. So among the now he mentioned that the lordship, the mastery. So there are two types of mastery, Lokiya and Lokuttara. Now, Lokiya is also twofold: the lordship over the people, others, and also the mastery over the mind. Now, out of them, he just takes the mastery of the mind, Chittissariya and Nirodhisariya, which are very, very personal, very, very personal. So, because we don't need the support of others for these things. So, asadharaniya pa Chittissariya and Nirodhisariya sati. So, when we have that personal mastery of our mind and our nibbana, na kadachipi vighatassa sambhavoti adipāli. There is no such vighata, suffering, sambhavoti, suffering doesn't occur in such matters, when there is such mastery. Or maybe that when there is such mastery, even we have such, even our desires are not accomplished, didn't meet with the standards we expect, we don't get the suffering because we have the mastery of our mind. Or otherwise, issues such as these mastery of our mind or mastery over the nirvana doesn't bring such suffering, because it always happens according to our wish, because it's nothing, its accomplishment is not based on others. So if you, for instance, we want to go into the jhana, we want to go into the phala samapatti, it is not something that depends on others, whether someone else likes or not. It's not going to affect our attainment. But when the Visakha wanted to release the jewelry from the taxes, she couldn't do it by herself. It has to be permitted by the king. So that desire has to be attained with the support of others. But if someone wants to get into jhana or get into the phala samapatti, it's not necessary that she needs the support of or consent of the king. So this seems like these are the reasons, but how to apply this yoga into this vihanyati and this instant, why the Buddha brought this yoga as the reason, or is it the cause for this hardship or the mental suffering, or is it because of yogas that we are involved in such matters that had to be solved by others? This is something to be discussed. And then here also, there in the beginning, he mentioned about 3 types of Issariya, but when it comes to Asadharana Issariya, the commentators only take 2 types, leaving apart the lordship, maybe because even though he is able to take the decisions by himself as a lord, but still such matters is influenced by others, because if it only depends only as long as the army is obedient to us, as long as the army is following our rules and so forth. Otherwise, we are unable to keep that lordship within ourselves in the human realm. But when it goes to Deva realm, the matter is different, because of his punya, he is able to live as a sakka despite there is rebellions or the devas like or dislike. It doesn't matter. So, but in the end, they have taken this only the Chittissariya, Nirodhisariya. It seems like these things does not bring such a suffering. The rough idea, the general idea is clear. If things have to be done only with our involvement, without the others' consent, we will not suffer it, as in the matters that should need to be accomplished or finalized by others. Because in such cases, it may or it may not, and it depends on the others' decisions. And it is also mental burden, because we always would be in a doubt how the decision would be taken in benefit of myself or in the other way. So this is what I understand in this gatha. So so we'll have discussion on this.
So Bhante, when you talk about like hello Bhante?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So we talk about the GD, oh, okay. The GD Sariya, and the Nirodha Sariya. So I have a question about this. They said this is we can control, but how about if we do like a samatha meditation, but because our past gamma, we cannot attain the jhana. So that we cannot control in that sense also, right?
No, this one, if you look into the explanation, it says Lokiya Jana Abhinya Nibbattan Chittisarya. So after you attain the jhana and abhinya, you get this mastery. Like this is a person who has already attained. It's not a person like a individual practitioner. What you mean is like someone's jhana attainments can be prevented by karma, right? We may try, but we may not attain. But here the mastery is given to the someone who has attained. Lokiya jhana abhinyaya nibbattam. Because of these jhanas, this mastery is attained. This is the mastery, or this is the mastery that is gained by someone who has the jhana. Is it what you're asking?
Yes.
So it's not applicable for an ordinary yogi. This is a yogi who has already attained the jhana.
But I'm thinking even the jhana, we can lose the jhana, right? Even we already attend.
Yeah, that's why the commentator is saying below, that is true. Tatta anichantikataya lokiya jhana nibbattan chittisariyam. So he mentions that the lordship of others is viparinama dukkha, it changes. The same way, anichantikataya lokiya jhana nibbattan chitte. So this mastery would also has anicca as the end. It would also finishes it, because at our death we normally lose that jhana when we are born in the karma realm, and as we get the nivarana, sometimes we may lose it, we may fall down back. So in that sense, ultimately this is not a safe happiness. But while we have while we possess the jhana, while we have the, as long as we don't lose the jhana, we have the mastery over that. That's why we can attain the jhana as we like and so forth. So in the extreme case, yeah, it's not a fully safe place, but as long as we possess the jhana, it is one kind of a mastery, and it's something that it's a happiness.
Because here you see in the same sentence you have mentioned tatha anijanti kataya.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the whole sentence, niroda sariya ye ema mewa panano kadamehi akambaniyado.
Ekanta sukhang now. Only this is the real happiness.
Yeah.
Real happiness. So first two masteries are happiness, but when we analyze them deeply, we find that they are not they still fall into suffering. Sabbhatha dukkhameva. In terms of noble truths, yeah, it's a suffering. So it's like this, I think. Now, when we come into, we have three types of satcha, right? The sammuti satcha. Then we have paramatta satcha. Then we have arya satcha. So sammuti satcha becomes wrong when we come to paramatta satcha, because there is no human, is only 5 aggregate. There's no tree, only 4 elements and so forth. But paramatta satcha, we normally say kusala brings happiness, akusala brings suffering, right? But for example, we say lokiya kusala according to paramatta satcha brings happiness, and akusala brings suffering. But when it comes to arya satcha, both Lokiya Kusala and Akusala bring suffering. Because happiness here means Lokiya Vipaka. Suffering here means Akusala Vipaka. Lokiya Kusala Vipaka. This is Akusala Vipaka. Now, when it comes to Lokiya, so whatever Lokiya Vipaka, we know in the noble truth, they fall into Dukkha Satya, right? Lokiya realities. So likewise, as that's true what you're saying. So when we analyze in terms of Arya Satya, things are suffering. Most of things are suffering, which were considered as blissful in terms of Paramatta Satya. So likewise, these Istariyas in a shallow level, shallow means in a certain level, they all are considered as happiness. But when we put them into the noble truths, there's among them Yam Chakkavatti Bhava Paryosana Manusyesu Istariyang, the lordship in humans, that is, has the Chakkavatti Sukha as the foremost. Yancha Sakhadinang Tasmin Devanikaya Adipaccha Bhutang Istariyang, the lordship in certain those Deva realms that is possessed by Sakka and so forth. Tadubhayang, both of them, Yadipi Kammanu Bhavena Yati Chitta Nipatya Sukha Nimittatahaya Sukha. So both of them is happiness because they bring it, Yatichita Nippatitaya. Kammanu Bhavena Yatichita Nippatitaya. So they bring like Yatichita Nippatita. So they bring whatever we desire is accomplished, basically based on their power of merit. So Sukha Nimitta Tahaya Sukham. So those lordship brings happiness, is a reason for happiness. So therefore, they should be considered as happiness. Viparinama dukkha tahaya. In terms of noble truths, we find it viparinama dukkha. Sankara dukkha, viparinama dukkha, dukkha dukkha. So in terms of noble truths, viparinama dukkha tahaya, sabbata dukkha meva. It's always suffering in terms of viparinama dukkha. But when we consider about it, the Paramatta Satya, because of the Kamma Anubhavena, Yatichitta Nippatitahaya, Nippatya. Because Tadubhayang Yadipi Kamma Anubhavena Yatichitta Nippatya Sukha Nimittaya Sukham. So whatever we desire can be attained in such lordship. So therefore they are suffering in terms of a different level. So we have to consider as this first statement is in the Paramatta level. This statement is in the Arya Satya level. So tatha, in the same way, Anichantika tahaya Lokiya Jana Nibbattan Chittistarya, in the same way. So it brings, it is a it's a happiness in a one level, but when you compare it with the ultimate, like in the very deeper level, it is understood as suffering. But Nirodha Satya, Nirodha Istarya, whatever level it is, should not be considered as suffering. It is only a happiness.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. So regarding the Ikanda Sukha, how you translate real happiness, right? Can we translate the extreme happiness?
Okay, right. Ekanta, sure, unfailing, extreme. Yeah, unfailing. I feel it like it's better to say unfailing. Extreme. Can say Ekanto, Sukho, extreme happiness.
Because in the first you translated it as a real happiness, right?
Yeah, I mean real happiness
So
means
yeah, you translated the real happiness. That means you use the first word sure, right? That one. But I mean, can we use extreme happiness?
yeah, it says meaning absolutely, extremely, extraordinarily, quite, usually in function of an adverb. Ekantang gacchati. At one end, only in nominal. I think it's extremely very much in frequency combination. Ekanta kalaka, kanta gata. Ekanta dukkhang. Yeah, ekanta dukkhang extremely, very much. Ekanta sukha also they translate in the dictionary extremely, extreme happiness. Yeah, it seems. Yeah. Yeah, we can say extreme. Yeah. So you mean it's extreme happiness, right? Yeah.
Yes, Bhante.
Extreme
Thank you.
happiness means it doesn't become a suffering in whatever means. Right? Yeah, the dictionary says extreme is possible. Yeah.
And then can we translate that as the absolute happiness?
Absolute happiness. How do you think absolute? Absolute, how do we define the word absolute in English? Like, there's no other possibility, right? Absolute.
Right, there's no other possibility. There's
Yeah, yeah, can, right? Seems like. Absolute. Not qualified or diminished in any way. Yeah, total. Absolute secrecy. We can say, I think, extreme happiness, absolute happiness. We can translate, yeah. But we have to keep in mind what the commentators want to say is that this is not going to be a suffering in any means. I hope it's clear.
Okay, hi Bhante. Yeah, I have a question and then some comment later. I have a question about the word Kama Yoga Divasena. So what is the significant I guess we can say meaning, significant meaning of the word wasa? Because so what is can we, instead of saying Kama Yoga Divasena, can we say Kama Yoga Dihi or Kama Yoga Dina? So what is the difference between those words, Bhante?
Vasena is in terms of here, normally. Sometimes the vasa refers to the control. Sometimes we translate it as vashen, like in terms of it, like something. Wait, just hold on. Normally, the word vasa is given as power, authority, influence, and all this. That is the normal word vasa. But when we go into the word vasena, we normally see that's our normal translation. No, for example, vase vattati means it's under the control. But I'm not sure there is a. It's not a vasena. It is not a different word. But normally we normally translate it in terms of
So,
the idea.
so then when you say in terms of, then is it instrumental? Because usually when I see wasena, I usually translate it as by means of.
By means of, yeah, by means of. Is it different in terms of by means of?
I think it's a little bit different, but because when you say in terms of, it doesn't have the instrumental meaning in there.
Okay, okay. So by means of, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say. By means of. Yeah.
Okay. So So, and then I have a comment about that. So you said that we can, because you think that the Kama Yoga Divasena should be connected to Vihanyanti, right?
Yeah.
That's what I also think, because I think the Kama Yoga Divasena should be the instrumental of that verb. It cannot, I don't think it connected to the Echitala Bahetu, because if we say that it's connected to the Echitala Bahetu, then it means that word Kama Yoga Divasena is the instrumental of the verb Lapati. Then it doesn't make sense. So which means he does not attain what he wanted because of that. Then it doesn't make sense.
No, my initial doubt was it was a doubt whether Kama Yoga is connected to Ichita.
So he's not gaining because of.
No, Ichita because of Kama Yoga and not gaining it. So it's a strange, like one is desired because of Kama Yoga Vasena Ichitang Alabha Hetu.
Okay.
That was my, I'm with this Vihanyati. What I was doubting was, is it possible? Something like that. Yeah, as you said, Kama Yoga Vasena Alabha should not be a possibility. For sure, right? It should not be a, my initial like, I had a doubt, not like if someone can suggest that it is possible to give Kama Yoga and Ichita, then it will be a restrained samasa that we said. I like Gamaka samasa, something like that we discussed one day. But
then Bhante,
Kama Yoga,
yeah. But the Ichita in this case, we should take it as a noun, right? Because not gaining what is whatever is desired.
Not gaining whatever has been desired. Yeah.
Yes, right. So Ichita has the sense of a noun in this case, not a verb.
But it has the verbal meaning, right?
Right, but I mean in this context, because it belongs to that samasa, Ichita laba.
Yeah. Like what I was saying, Kama Yogadi Vasena Ichitang Ichito Labho. So this is
so you see, yeah, sorry, go ahead with this.
Yeah. So what we did was, what I'm the doubt I had was Kama Yoga Di Vasena. Then we make the samasa here. Ichita. So Alabo.
Yeah, Alabo, yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Ichita Labo. Otherwise, what I was suggesting, as you said, Kama Yoga Di Vasena Vihanyati. Yeah. Reason of Vihanyati is Chitta Labha Hetu. So this is the reason of Vihanyati. Why it happened. This is also a reason, but these are two reasons. This is the incident which triggered this. This is the cause for this Vihanyati. Because of we have Kamadi Yoga within ourselves uneradicated, we suffer at the loss of not gaining of what we have desired.
But then Bhante, also as you said that if this happens to an arahant,
yeah,
not going to he's not going to suffer this, even if he doesn't, he doesn't gain what is desired.
Yes, exactly.
So it looks to me that the karma yoga, the vasena, should be connected to the vihanyati. Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, another thing when we are discussing thought came to me. Ichita alaba means yam pichan nalabati tampi dukkam, right? That is ichita alaba dukkha. Ichita alaba is common to everyone, even to arhants. Like ichita alaba means ichita means like not desired by craving. Arahant would also have something like he would desire to get the Buddha, he would desire to get a robe, which is necessary. So he may not get it sometimes. So ichita alaba, like piya vipayoga is there, appiya sampayoga is there for arahants. But the thing is, so this is one of the 12 types of sufferings mentioned in the Noble Truths. So this is one of the sufferings out of the 12. So this is common to all, like the 5 aggregates. So then he is not going to suffer even though he doesn't get what is desired. So in that case, we have to go to Vihanyati. Yeah.
And then also, Bhante, should it be echitang alabo instead of echito alabo? Echitang alabo or echitassa alabo, right?
Ichito alabo. Ichito alabo. Yes. Sorry. Ichitassa alabo. Ichitang alabo, ichitassa alabo. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu. If we go for ichita, like if we go at my doubt like this one, then we have to say like whatever is desired is now, then we have to exclude. If someone goes into another alternation, like to try to explain it, then we have to say that desired here means something that is desired by karma yoga and so forth. So then in that case, we have to exclude the works of arahants. That we have to exclude the works of arahants. Then what happens? This is the triggering incident because he desired something, ichitassa, then not gaining that, he suffers. So if we go into that way, there, according to that explanation, according to this context, there is no, arahants doesn't have anything ichitassa. Because of karma yoga and so forth, by means of that, they desire this. In this explanation, what we prefer, arahants can have something that is desired for his, maybe for his benefit or something, necessity thing. So he, even though he don't get it, he doesn't suffer because he doesn't have the causes for suffering.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, shall we call it a day, Sally?
Yes, Bhante. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Yeah, I'll in the weekend I'll try my best to do the vocabulary of the Visākhāsuttaṃ, which is a long sutta and which is a very nice sutta. We'll try to do it. Okay. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.